Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. If you are new and you haven't seen my channel before, welcome. I hope you find what I do here interesting or informational or educational. One or all of the three would be preferred, but if you don't find it one or any of those three, I hope you find it entertaining. I hope you find something you enjoy about this video and this isn't just a big waste of your time. That being said, if you are a returning subscriber, thank you very much. I appreciate your support. I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoy this and enjoy my content, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, maybe share some content, get my name out there. I'd really appreciate it. I'd really appreciate the help growing my channel. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. In today's video, I'm going to take a look at a window manager, and I'm refraining from saying new window manager because even though it is new to me, this is not a new window manager. I don't know that it's a window manager you have ever heard of, but it is not new by any means. In fact, the last time that any updates were done to this window manager from what I saw was back in 2010. So why am I going over this window manager, you might ask? It's probably not a viable option for an everyday window manager for your everyday use, but maybe it is if you're willing to take that risk. The reason I'm going over it is because there's some really kind of cool stuff about it that I liked, and so I thought, you know what, let's shed a little light on this. This gentleman might not like this because it might bring some attention to his project that he has maybe left to die, but you know, it is what it is. So I'm just going to show this window manager off because I really thought it was kind of cool. The name of this window manager is Euclid WM. So it's EUCLID-WM. And this is it on my screen right now. You can see I've got a bar across the top. It's DZen. I don't usually use DZen. I do have this set up because on my rat poison videos and on my rat poison setup I use DZen with rat poison. But when I tried to use Polybar with this, I ended up, Polybar would open up as a full window and not just a bar at the top. So I attempted Polybar, I did a little goofing around with some stuff, but DZen just made it work and just works with it, and so that way I was able to get this video going. So that being said, let's just kind of go ahead and jump into the documentation real quick. He's got a few places you can go here. He's got his website here, which is euclidwm.sourceforge.net, and if we go to the home link here, it just kind of gives you a little breakdown. And he's all about minimalism, and you'll see this Euclid is a minimalist tiling window manager, and you can see down here this site is optimized for W3M, which if you don't know what that is a web way to look at web stuff in the terminal. But it is optimized for that. So he's about minimalist stuff. So Euclid is a minimalist tiling window manager for X11. It seeks to allow easy management of numerous windows entirely from the keyboard, and it seeks to do two things in particular: balance the ease of use common among window managers with automatic or fixed layouts with the flexibility of those with dynamic layouts, and it creates an easy way to manage minimized windows. And this is kind of what I thought was cool about this. So the features are: it's completely keyboard controlled, there's no need for a mouse. It's easy layout, place and resize windows into just about any layout with a very few keystrokes. I like this. I like the way he does it. I'm going to go over it here in a minute, but that was really cool. It's small. It's got a per view stack that manages minimized windows, which is awesome as well. This is one of the other features I like about this. So it allows for more screen space. It's got full screen support. It's got a simple config file, which it is. It is a super simple config file. And it supports on the fly reloading of your configuration file. So when you change something, you can reload it without having to log out, log back in, or losing what you've got going on right now. It's got no floating layer. It plays nice with DZen, like you see up here. DZen works well with it, and similar apps. It allows binding keys to arbitrary external commands, and it has Interama support, which is in development. Get the source code from SVN if you want to try it. But and then he's got a tab here for some screenshots, and he says there isn't much to see here. It is very minimalist, which it is. It is very minimalist, and which is kind of cool. But people like screenshots, he says, so here it is in action. So if you want to come up here, there's really not a whole lot to see with them, so I'm not going to blow them up, but there's a few screenshots here that he just has on there. Then we have the tutorial. We have some the man page. I'm going to go over the tutorial in a minute, but we have the man page, which gives you quite a bit of information. It's not real in-depth, but it gives you some information. He's got a bugs list. Where you can report bugs, and you can track bugs here on GitHub, which we have the GitHub page open right here. We'll go over that in a minute. And he's got a mailing list, help out, and then get it, which just takes you to another page that either you can get the tar.gz, and then you can, has instructions for if you're having trouble with the tarball. You can check out the Git trunk, and you can, it's available from repositories in the following distros: FreeBSD, SUSE, TinyCore, and Ubuntu, thanks to a PPA. Or you can go right here and click on this, which is going to browse the source code, which is going to take you here, and then from here on the GitHub page, it'll take you to another page, which is the code.google.something or over, which he has stuff over there too. So first off, let's go back to the tutorial here. This is just a real brief tutorial that goes over a few of the main key bindings. So Alt-Enter is going to launch dmenu as long as you have it installed. Alt-Shift-Enter is going to launch Xterm, or whichever terminal you have defined in your euclid-wm.conf, which is your config file. And we're going to go over files here in just a second. Alt-Shift-Enter will open up a terminal. Alt-Shift-Enter will open another terminal, and I'm going to go over these layouts here in a minute when I go over key bindings, but it basically launches them stacked on top of each other, 1, 2, 3, 4. But then there's some cool stuff you can do once they're stacked. So we're going to go over that in a second. So that's basically what this tutorial is, just kind of goes over how to launch Windows and kind of how to move Windows around. So Alt-Shift-L, Alt-O, Alt-Shift-Space-H. So we'll go over this stuff here in just a second. But that's just the basics here. This tutorial just kind of goes through that stuff, how to move and how to jump between workspaces and everything. Which aren't called workspaces on this, by the way, they're called tracks. So, that being said, we can go over to the GitHub page, and you can see us here. And if we look down here, we can see that 90.7% written in C. So it is written in C. There's not a whole lot here. There's an issues section here that's got a few open issues, but there's not much going on. Oops, I don't want to go back to his. Sorry, didn't mean to click on his deal there. But if we go in here, you can see that the commits, the last ones were 9 years ago, 7 years ago, 12 years ago. So it's been a while since this has been taken care of. But again, there was just some cool stuff that I think I really wanted to show people about this. And then over here, if you go to googlecode.archive or code.google.com archive, you have basically the same thing. A little bit more of an explanation on a few things. You've got some issues. You've got the source code. You've got the wiki, which if you click on that, gives you the install instructions, some screenshots, and usage tutorial, which is real similar to the one over here on his website. And then you've got the downloads here. But again, you can do it all from source here. This is how I installed it, doing it from the source code. And so if we go back over to Google Docs and we click on the install, it's going to show you right here how to go ahead and do it. Yeah, so if you know how to install something from Git or whatever, you can go through this, and it's pretty self-explanatory. So we won't go through the install process. Because it really was simple. I basically ran through, followed these directions, followed the source code here, and yeah, so it was nice and easy. But let's go ahead and go through some of the key bindings. So if we go to Workspace 1 here, and like I said, if we do Alt-Enter, that is going to launch dmenu, which I have dmenu installed on my system, so that brings it right up. You can launch a web browser. You can launch, a file manager, just like anything else. So you can launch your programs from dmenu, and again, that is Alt-Enter. That's what the main key binding is. So let's go ahead first, and we'll go through. I'm going to show you some of the layouts and stuff. So let's go ahead and open like 4 terminals. So Alt-Shift-Enter. I have Kitty, so I have Kitty opening up my terminals with Kitty. So we're just going to open 4 terminals here. Oh, we can just do 3. So as you open terminals this way, the layout, it drops it down. So you have obviously rows or columns or whatever you want to call them. You have 3 rows. And if you do Alt-Tab, it's going to change those over to columns, and Alt-Tab is going to put them back. If you do Alt-Space, Alt-Shift-Space does full screen, which is true full screen. It covers up the bar and everything. And then if you do sorry, if you keep doing Alt Shift Space, it rallies or it rotates through everything and puts you back here to the columns, and then we'll go back to the rows here like this. So another thing you can do is when you're like this, if you press, this uses the Vim keys, so if you do Alt and do K, that's going to move up, Alt J is going to move down. If you have, say 3 open and you come down to this middle one here, you can see the middle one, it does follow mouse, focus does follow mouse. So say we're in the middle one here and we want to move that one to the left side of the screen. If we press Alt, Shift, and we press L, we move that to the other side, and now we have more of a master and stack. So then if we wanted to do that with this one too, we could do Alt Shift L, move that one over here, and now we've got the master and stack on the other side. Well, the other cool thing about this is if we do and highlight this one, we do Alt H and we move that over there. If we do Alt and O and I, O and Y is going to resize this window here, right? So we can make this one a little smaller, we can make this one a little larger. Well, the other thing is if we do Alt L and move over to this one and we do Alt I and U, we can shrink the size of this one here. And so you can change these and basically get whatever layout you want just by resizing your windows with just a couple key bindings. And I thought that was really cool. That was what I really liked about this, was the ease of just making your layouts how you want them. You know, just okay, let me open these windows and then a quick key binding, and you can move your window to the other side of your screen and resize it, and it's just super simple. That was one of the things I liked about it. One of the other things I liked about it was, say we have this is the focused, if I could spell F-O-C-U-S-E-D. This is the focus window right here. Now I'm not zoomed in or anything, but you can see this is the focused window, right? So say I want to minimize that window. Well, if I press Alt and I press comma, or no, it's period, Alt and period, and that window's gone, right? Well, now let's press Alt Space, and you can see this little bar that appears down at the bottom here, and how it's got the little tilde here that shows this is my terminal opened in my home directory. So now let's say I'm highlighting this window and I want to minimize this window. Well, I press Alt period, and now I've minimized that one, and you can see I've got 2 of them down here. Now, say I want to start, and let's say I launch Brave now. Launch Brave browser, we've got that up there, and now we minimize that. Now you can look down here and you can see I've got a new tab, Brave. So that shows this is Brave and these are terminals. Now I can hide that by pressing Alt Space. That whole bar goes away, everything's still minimized, but I don't take up any screen real estate with that. Then if I want to see it again, I can press Alt Space again, there it is. Now to select one of these, all I have to do is press Alt and either comma or semicolon, and that will cycle through up or down through to the ones that are listed down there. And then when I cycle down to the one I want, so like Brave browser, and I press Alt and comma, it's going to bring it right back up and refocus it, and I can hit Alt Space and I can hide that again. So it's really cool the way that it minimizes the windows down into this little tab bar on the bottom, and then you can hide that tab bar. So I really liked this functionality on this window manager because I thought that was really kind of cool. Now would I use that very often? No, probably not, because I don't have a lot of windows open at once usually. But it's just a really cool feature of this that, you know, I'm surprised more window manager creators haven't thought about. So that being said, if I wanted to bring the other ones back up, again, I could just use Alt and use comma and semicolon to toggle through the ones that are down there, and then Alt, comma will bring that one back alive. If I want to close it, I have it set to Alt-Shift-Q, will close Windows. Alt-Shift-Q, and now I've got that one down there. Is that still open, right? Well, I can do Alt, comma, and bring that one back up. We're good to go. If I want to move it, it's just like any other window manager. I can do Alt-Shift-4, and that'll move it to Workspace 4. I don't have workspace numbers. I couldn't figure out how to get workspace numbers on DZen, so I haven't spent much time working on that. But basic movement between workspaces is the same. Alt and then the workspace number takes you to the different workspaces, and then Alt-Shift, the workspace number will transfer whatever you have on that workspace to the workspace you're selecting. So that's pretty basic. So a lot of it is real familiar usage, but what I liked about it again was how you handle windows in it, and how a quick keystroke basically moves a window where you want it on the screen, and then another quick keystroke can resize, grow it, or shrink it. Another quick keystroke can minimize it and hide it. There's just a lot going on with window control on this, and I'm really kind of disappointed that this guy let this project die, because I really think this could have been a cool window manager, and if I really had the time to do it, I might try and pick this up from him. But that being said, let's go ahead and close this window, and let's go ahead and get into the configuration file. So when you install everything, you need to make a configuration file, and you need to make sort of an auto start file. So if we cd into our .config and I do an ls, you can see I have Euclid WM right here. So now we need to cd into Euclid WM, and let's clear the screen and zoom in. And if I do an ls here, you can see I've got euclidwm.conf, which is the main configuration file, and then I have the Euclid RC, which is the file you use to auto start whatever it is you need to auto start. So let's vim into Euclid RC and enter, and you can see there's not a lot to it. It gives you some basic directions here on what you can do. And other than that, you just kind of come down here. Like I have my wallpaper set with X wallpaper, so I put that in here. I have dzen firing off right here with my script for dzen2. So that's my bar, and then I have PyCom firing off. So basically, you put whatever you want to auto start on your Euclid window manager. You put it in this .config Euclid WM / Euclid RC file. And once you get that stuff in there, you can then go to the Euclid-wm.conf. And it kind of gives you a breakdown here, configuration file for Euclid WM. This file needs to be an xdg/config/home if xdg config home is defined. Otherwise, it needs to be in the home.config directory. It must be named Euclid/wm, or not slash, but Euclid-wm.conf. The syntax is quite simple. So a key is value. You put the key, and then it equals value 1, value 2, or whatever. Key equals value. These colors here are your focus colors for your windows. You have the main focus color. You have the focus color stack focus. So the windows that are open up here, you have focused and unfocused color, and then you have the windows that are down in the stack down here. When you minimize them, you have focused and unfocused. So the one you want to look at, the highlighted one, is going to be a different color than all the other ones down there. And then there is a colored background for the stack. So basically we have black for the background, so you can see the bar down here kind of, it's got a black background. The color for unfocused is B8, 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 which is kind of a gray color, and then the main focus is 005F87. Or the main unfocused, so that's when I open another window here. You can see the unfocused window has the blue border, and the focused window has the orange border. So let's close this that. So the 5F87 5F is the focus stack color. So when there's windows minimized, the one that is highlighted that will come up if you use the key binding is going to be a green color, and then the ones that are unfocused are going to be kind of the gray color. You can reserve space around your windows here. Reserved top is 30, so that brings down the window a little bit, so I have room for my bar. Reserved bottom 10, 10, 10, so I just left a little bit of space around the edge of the window. This doesn't put gaps between windows, it's just around the edge of the screen. You can have a resize increment, which is 30, so when you resize the window, it resizes it 30 pixels. The mod key is mod key 1. When you want to set the mod key, it's just a number. Like mod 2 equals 2, mod 4 would be 4, so I have mod key for 1, which is alt, because I'm an alt mod key user. And then down here we have some key bindings. The only thing I had a really hard time doing, and I couldn't get my own to take, was creating key bindings. Because no matter how I wrote them out, even though I tried to copy the way they were doing them, I couldn't get other key bindings to take. So I couldn't get my browser to launch with a key binding. I had to launch D menu to launch any programs. I can launch my terminal. I can launch D menu, and so that's what these are. Bind. So to set up key binding, it was bind _spawn _menu equals M, which is mod, and then return, which is the key, and then it gives the description D menu equals D menu _run. So basically, binding format is bind underscore action equals, so the action you want to happen, equals mod key, or mod plus key. So mod is capital M. So values for mod are capital M or capital MS for mod or mod plus shift. And then key is an X key name. So obviously return is the X key name. Mod shift return is going to launch kitty. And then we come down here, and mod M is going to go to the next view, and mod N is going to go to the previous view. So you can cycle through the windows with mod M and N, or excuse me, through the workspaces with mod M and N. Mod shift M and mod shift N is going to move stuff, kind of like just picking, instead of picking, if you're on workspace 1 and you have a window open and doing mod shift 2, you can do mod shift M and it'll just move it to the next window. Or you can just use the number keys. You can move the main focus between open windows between mod and then the Vim keys, H, J, K, and L, so up, down, left, and right. Using Vim keys. You can move windows within the current view by using mod shift and the Vim keys. So you can resize using mod Y, O, I, and, or Y, U, I, and O. So left is going to be Y, so when you want to resize left, you press mod Y. When you want to resize down, mod U. When you want to resize up, you do mod I, and you want to resize right, you do mod O. To toggle the stack on and off, you just press mod space. So if you see this little bar at the bottom there, and I do mod space, you can see that bar comes in and out of view. So you can toggle that visibility so it doesn't take up screen real estate. Bind move to stack mod period. So if I wanted to move this window to the stack, I'd just do mod period, and now you can see it's down here in the stack. To bring it back, I would do mod comma, and it's going to come back. And to swap stack and main, you do mod slash. So if I had a window down here that was minimized and I wanted to swap it with the open one, I could do mod slash and it would just swap the windows. So to move the focus on the stack, so to kind of toggle through the different available windows down here, you could do mod semicolon and mod apostrophe. Excuse me. Mod shift semicolon, mod shift apostrophe, or mod shift apostrophe. Jeez, Jake. It's going to push the item and move it up far and down in the stack. Not going to change focus just necessarily, but it's going to move it up and down in the stack. Toggle orientation, mod tab, which is like I showed you at the beginning, they're going to go from being stacked on top of each other to being columns next to each other with mod tab. Mod shift Q is going to close a window. Mod Q is just going to kill the window. Bind toggle full screen, so mod shift space is going to switch it to full screen. Mod shift C is going to quit the session. Reload the configuration is mod R, so if you change something in here and you want to reload your configuration on the fly, you just press mod R. And then for multiple monitors and stuff, to go to the next screen is M prior and M next, so page up and page down. Search for a window via D menu. I thought this was kind of cool too. I have a video out that I made a script that does this for me, so I can look at what's open on what workspace, but on this one it's built in. So if I press mod shift slash, you get a D menu up here that shows you what you've got running on what windows or on what workspaces. So it's kind of cool. So I've got my terminal open on this workspace, I've got simple screen recorder open on a workspace, and I've got the Euclid.conf open on a workspace. So that allows you to just kind of see what you got open on what workspaces, considering there's no workspace tags on DZen that I've been able to get working. That's just kind of real helpful. You have down here custom command for Slock, and it gives you a little bit of information here. Supports up to 10 hotkeys bound to external commands. The format for the binding is bind custom and then mod shift key name, just like normal key bindings. The format for the associated commands is custom command underscore 1 through 10 equals command to pass to shell, e.g. bind custom -1 and print. Okay, so I didn't read this correctly the first time, so I'm thinking what I can do to launch a terminal. Let's go ahead and try this, or to launch browser. Let's just go ahead and try this real quick. So it would be bind underscore custom underscore 01 equals, let's do mod and B, let's do mod shift B, because that's my normal key binding, and then it's custom command 1 equals Brave browser stable, and let's write, and let's do mod R to reload our configuration file, and now let's do mod shift B. Oh, okay. Yeah, I completely read that wrong the first time. Okay, so perfect. So you can add up to 10 custom key bindings. I tried to get simplex hotkey daemon to run on this as well. I didn't spend a whole lot of time goofing around with it, but okay, that's cool. That makes sense. So now I know how to actually add some more key bindings. You know, that's kind of it for this window manager so far with what I've goofed around with it, but I really kind of like this, and I think I'm going to kind of mess around with this a bit because I really like the functionality of this with being able to hide the windows like that and just do that stuff and manipulate the windows so easily with this window manager. I know this is old and it hasn't been updated, and so it's probably not going to work for me for an everyday use, but it's really cool and I really kind of like it. So that being said, again, if we go to, let's see here, let's do mod shift slash, and let's see, I think I closed the window that had all of his stuff on there, but okay, well, let's just go ahead and close it out. Again, this is Euclid WM, EUCLID -WM. It's really cool, it's really different. It is old and it is unmaintained, but if you're kind of a window manager fanatic like I am, it's worth a check out. Get in there, check it out, dig in, let me know what you think. I'm going to actually play around with it for a while and see what I can come up with. So that being said, I hope you found this interesting, and I hope you enjoyed this video spotlighting this window manager, and I hope you had a good time. So I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and be safe. If it's hot, stay cool. If it's cool, stay hot, and just have a great rest of your weekend. Like I said, God bless.